Hi, this is Majin, and I'm going to data dump you with a bunch of reviews right off the bat. I'm going to be really busy this weekend, and I have no idea when or if I'm going to be able to get through everything and then post reviews on it, because I'm already slacking as it is due to other commitments. So I thought I'd read a bunch and just bang them out all at once. We have Consequences, number 5, End of Days, number 2, X-Force, number 33, Deadpool, number 1, Avengers 33, New Avengers 32, and Shadow Man. I'll do Shadow Man first for you guys. This was actually a really cool book. What you have here is, I guess you can say it's not like an original type origin issue. You have the original Shadow Man as the father. His wife is pregnant with their son. Shadow Man fights greatest evil of all mankind, and he sacrifices himself. The wife leaves, and to get away from it all, raises the son. Wife disappears, is killed actually, and now the boy's raised by himself, and he doesn't really know anything about his parents. They do give him an amulet, and that's supposed to protect him, but the idiot, once he learns some information about his parents, he only hears about their bad that the father has done, and he throws away the amulet. Once that happens, trouble ensues. Now, the trouble is in the form of this demon creature, and I thought this demon creature was awesome. It's really, I would just love to see this thing in a movie type thing. I can just see the thing move, the mouths, opening, closing. I think they did a phenomenal job with that, this design here. Now, I'm really actually excited. Even though this book kind of ended on a weak point, meaning it kind of followed this like a very stereotypical thing of hero gets captured, he doesn't know who he is, and then suddenly the power comes to save him type thing. But it's just a device used to get the plot going, and I'm willing to forgive it in the hopes that they're going to do something really cool with this. And overall, I would say buy this book. It should still be on comic book shelves. I can't imagine this thing selling out day one, so go back and get it. Okay, New Avengers 32. If you remember last time, this is basically somebody's killing the Mystics, and there's a lot of craziness and shenanigans going on here. There's some witty dialogue, and that Bendis threw in there. Yeah, I think Bendis is still doing it. So there's still some witty dialogue. The art's decent. It's better than it was last time, which makes me happy. And things just go really chaotic. There's people getting possessed. Daredevil's almost figures it out. And basically things go crazy when a cop shoots himself after he's possessed. And the whole basically Avengers mansion gets shut down. And it's actually, I don't want to say it's decent yet, but it's getting better. They do reveal who the main villain is, and the cover is your clue. And I am kind of curious to see how this thing is going to develop. This is getting the end of his run, so I'm hoping they end it with a bang. Now, this is the Avengers end time storyline, where the Avengers go looking for the Wasp. Now, I don't know if it's me or not, but this just looks almost like a new version of Baron Karzar from the Micronauts. Now, some of you younger readers may not realize this, but Marvel had a deal with, I think it was Hasbro, and they did a comic book called the Micronauts. And the Micronauts were based off of a toy line, I believe they were based off of a toy line in Japan. And, basically the end of the concept, they were small and stuff, microscopic, in their own little world thing. And they had like these characters called time travelers. They had a Croyer, and then there's Baron Karzar, the villain. And Baron Karzar was basically a human and a horse. And what he would do is he would become a centaur through, basically you take the body apart and they were magnets, I believe, and then you put them in there or something like that. And obviously, Marvel can't use certain key characters from the Micronaut line other than Bug, because Bug was an original creation by Marvel. So this guy kind of reminds me of that character, like a homage to him, but done like a slightly different way. Now from there, things go bad really quickly for the Avengers team, and they get captured, battle, and then they're basically setting up the stage for the final battle, and eventually to bring the Wasp back. Again, Bendis has some, quote-unquote witty dialogue, and it's really weird seeing the Wasp react the way she does when she sees everybody, especially towards Hank. Hank and Janet have had a long history of problems, and Janet just seems to not care about any of that. She's just glad that he came to visit, or not visit, but to rescue her. And I understand there's a lot of things that happen that, he's not responsible for, and because of that secret invasion stuff. But you have to look at it in terms of the context of when you're just initially reading it, the initial impression is, wow, I've never thought she would be this happy to see Hank with the overall history that they've had. But, you would think that she'd be more happy to see Cap or Thor, for an example. But overall, I'm enjoying this one a lot more than the other one, so I'm hoping the other End Times picks up from where it's at. Okay, Deadpool. At first, I wasn't thinking. I was on and off the fence with Deadpool. I wasn't sure about it, but I am really glad I got it. This was such an entertaining read. You have this necromancer guy, and what he's did was he's starting to raise dead presidents and turning them into superpowered undead beings, I guess you could say. Now, we can't have Captain America on the front page beheading, presidents, dead presidents. So basically, S.H.I.E.L.D. is put into a very rough situation. And ultimately, Deadpool gets involved, and they're going to hire Deadpool to go after these presidents. Now, I think the interaction between Deadpool and Thor was awesome. And just in general, I think the dialogue was really witty, and which was something I was afraid that was going to suffer, and I was pleasantly surprised. I like the artwork. The artwork is quirky and fun, and I think overall they really did a fantastic job with it, and I'm very happy with it. And this is definitely going to be staying on my pull list, definitely, for sure. So if you want something a little bit more lighthearted and comedic, by all means, take it. Here's another sample picture of what you're in for. Okay, Uncanny XForce, the final execution. We're nearing the end of Remender's run, and Remender is doing a fantastic job. It's just truly amazing. Now, the art goes back to being good again, even though there's been times where it kind of teeters, but overall, I really enjoy this. The way the art was in this issue. You have a really nice interaction between Wolverine and Draken. They talk through some father-son issues, and it gives you really an insight as to Draken's personality and why he is the way he is. Of course, that's just going to be rewritten at the earliest convenience. You have a very, very grisly death for the Blob. I won't show you exactly what happens, but I will say this. It involves swords cutting the stomach, and it involves a shark. That's all I'm going to say about that battle. You actually can see what Deadpool would look like without his face getting all marred up, or all jacked up. And oops, accidentally showed too much. But it basically is setting the stage for Kid Apocalypse donning the suit. And there's going to be probably some... See, I don't know where they're going to take this thing, because you see Apocalypse, Kid Apocalypse now and Wolverine and the X-Men, and he's normal. Like, this never happened. And this kid's getting trauma. So I don't know how this is going to fit into the main part of the universe. because you can't just suddenly put him into like some, you know, you can't have him be the same once he's done with this. So I'm worried and curious to see how this is going to work out. I also love the cover. Okay, Daredevil End of Days, fantastic. Bendis and Mack are really doing a great job with this book. In this issue here, it's just basically Ned Leeds trying to put the pieces together of Daredevil's secret word, and he's going, you know, through all the different, all possibilities, and he's basically looking for, right in this issue here, Black Widow, and we kind of find out what the fate of the Black Widow is, and it's just, I don't know, it's giving this really, I guess you can say, a very realistic portrayal of a superhero universe, in the sense of they die. You know, in theory, you know, they risk their lives, you know, time and time again. Eventually people are going to get killed, and it's giving you this like very realistic look at it, and it's, I'm really enjoying it. At the end, basically Ned finds one person who can probably help him out on his way, and that's the teaser for that. Now, if I'll the way the direction this is going, I'll say this now. I think it's pretty safe. Look for the trade. If you have, buy issue number 1 now, if it's still available. If not, get the trade. You will definitely be rewarded for this. Okay, AVX Consequences. This is issue 5. Now, I didn't really give Gillen any credit for this at all, and he really did a fantastic job, I have to admit. And he really pushed this thing in the right direction, I think. And I think part of the reason why I think it's in the right direction is there's going to be a bunch of people who are going to freak out and hate the direction it's going. When that happens, to me, that means you're challenging the character, you're challenging the status quo, and you're making things interesting because it's generating people to talk about it. If he put Cyclops back into normal, like, you know, basically, hi, my name is Scott Summers, and I'm the head of the School of Gifted Students, or something like that, people would go, but you did all this stuff, and now you're back to normal again. I don't understand it, but it's okay because it's the Cyclops we know and love. No. I don't think things should work that way all the time. In terms of characters, you know, certain characters we should see growth, we should see changes, and we should challenge the way we perceive them. You know, I think it's important that characters grow and develop. Cyclops, you know, while he is a very popular X-Men character, he's also very polarizing. And I think the direction he's taking him is in a very interesting way because, you know, Wolverine and Cyclops are basically switched roles, in a sense. The only difference is, while Wolverine wouldn't have done anything, Cyclops is. You know, he's basically teaming up with Magic and Magneto, and they're going to take care of some business, so to speak. Now, I believe in the new X-Men, part of the storyline is going to be they're going to try to prevent the death of Professor Xavier. And I think that direction, while it's going to be very controversial, especially bringing in all the old X-Men, I think, you know, it's a logical step that Cyclops would take. Part of me, though, would wish, let's just not bring that back. Let's look at some new storylines and maybe build up to bringing Professor X back that way. But, you know, we'll see how it turns out. Well, anyways, let's talk about this. Now, I mean, at first I was like, oh, really, this art? Really, is this the best that they can do? But then I've noticed some gems. Like, I love this picture page here. You know, Danger and Magic and Magneto. Basically, they're going to go rescue Cyclops. While they have that, the Avengers track down Hope and tell her to go home, which, surprisingly, she actually goes home. And then we get the prison breakout scene. I love this thing that they were doing with Magic. I mean, we rarely get to see Magic do really cool things. They're always hampering her abilities and never really taking off the gloves and letting her cut loose. And here we have tentacles busting down things, and then they go to Cyclops' wall for the prison. She's creating the arms to draw, just smash, tear down the walls. And after they free Cyclops, and this is the part that I like, Cyclops just doesn't go home. He sends a message. Now there's going to be some spoilers. If you remember the previous issue, they had that guy killed a mutant. Well, Cyclops sends his gang to hell. I'm like, that's a very good start. I like that. The second thing he does is he knows that this warden guy, he's basically running a prison for profit at the expense of mutants. And Cyclops is not going to stand for that. Not now. Especially not after everything that they've been through. So he sends them a message. He tears down the building and he puts an X right on his face. And I was like, that is awesome. See, that's the type of character I think you needed to have a long time ago. You had the mutant problem, and part of the issues was the mutants just kept growing and growing and growing. It's like anytime you needed somebody new, you created a mutant. And there were mutants everywhere. And of course you had the people just constantly, oppressing them, hatred and all that other stuff. And you never really had that pushback. It was always peace, 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 peace. And even Wolverine was peace, peace, peace. We won't do anything. We're here to protect you. Now it's time we have somebody who's a strong figurehead who's going to basically not stand for it. Even if you look at all the other incarnations of the X-Men teams and X-Forces and things like that, they always just kind of backed away from that. You had, like, for example, Cable with his old X-Force team. Well, they're the group of renegade heroes that are going to take the fight to the villains before they become dangerous. And, that worked for the first story arc, and then it reverted back to every other type of story. Now, I fully realize that kind of concept, even though it's happening here, is probably going to revert back. But I think the main difference here is you have a different character leading the way. And I think that's where we're going to see some of the changes in that kind of story development. Is we're going to see a Cyclops who just won't take it any longer. And while the stories might not always revolve around this kind of situation, I think the important thing that they need to focus on is making sure Cyclops is becoming the badass that he is supposed to be, type thing. And I'm not a Cyclops fan, not in the least, but I have to admit I'm really enjoying this version of Cyclops, because you have to keep in mind I'm also envisioning the next step in his evolution. They're not, whether or not they realize this or not, there's going to be another change in that character at some point in time. Because they're going to write him that way for so long, and eventually somebody's going to go, I don't want to take it in that direction any longer. Maybe we should bring him back to the fold because we need to do it for XYZ reasons. And that's what I want. That's what I'm ultimately waiting for, is that final version. In a way, he's like the Hulk. The Hulk goes through how many different personalities to fit the writer's style or for the story. And while the Hulk is basically a joke now, the way he keeps changing from mindless to smart to gray to Banner separate and all that other stuff, this is a character that they've taken their time to develop over time. They're changed him over time slowly, and I personally think they've made him a lot more interesting of a character. And for that, that's what really makes me excited about his direction. And I know half of you right there are going, I hate it. But look at the big picture. You hating him for being different from when you liked him is actually a good thing, because you're talking about it. Anyways, let me get you a free book. I was going to give you Deadpool, but they didn't give out codes for Deadpool, which was like, really? You couldn't give me a code for Deadpool. So I'll just give you AVX, if that's okay with you guys. Anyways, if you have any comments or questions, let me know. Rate the video up or down. Let me know what you think. I'm gonna try to do some more history of Marvels, and but I'm just you just understand how far behind I am on things. It's crazy. I mean, I have 2 anime cons I have to plan for, so I'm just time is like 0, and I have my stack of video games have just went like that. Anyways, if you have any other comments or questions, let me know. Rate the video up or down. Let me know what you think. Like the Facebook link. And I'll have more reviews and stuff later. So until next time.